Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be discussing the 2022 through 2023 C8 Z06 and ERay Corvette news you need to know about. Hello everyone and welcome back to Brink of Speed. Today we have some interesting news from the Mid-Engine Corvette forum about the 2022 C8 Z06 and the much anticipated 2023 C8 ERay. Now, just let me say that even though a lot of what I show you and talk about is very convincing, it all could be false and just speculation. But I like to think that some of this is true. Now, before we jump into the video, please hit that thumbs up button as this helps break the YouTube algorithm to help this video get recommended to everyone. And if you would like to join this wonderful Brink of Speed community, please hit that red subscribe button and the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Also, you can help support my channel by visiting my online Brink of Speed merchandise store, which I will leave a link to in the first pinned comment and description box below. Okay, let's get into it. So as I was looking for more information about both the C8 Z06 and ERay, I found an article on the Mid-Engine Corvette forum. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not joined the Mid-Engine Corvette forum yet, I think it's a mistake not to. They give you great informative information, and also on top of that, they will treat you with respect, and they do an excellent job of presenting the information. And here we have an article that starts out by saying, let us start with thanking Don Sherman at Hagerty for surfacing the below chart, whose source per Don came from GM's Executive Director of Program Management, Michelle Braun. But again though, even this article states that this could be all speculation. But I believe some of what has been supposedly uncovered here is true. Let's go through it one at a time, and you all can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Okay, so the first thing is we have another list of the next 4 model years and what they supposedly consist of. So as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, they have 2021 through 2025 listed again. Now we can skip over 2021, we already know what that is, but 2022 they have listed as an LT6 5.5 liter 32 valve dual overhead cam engine. This is the engine that we've all been told is going to be in the new Z06. Now one thing they left off here and they forgot to mention is that it supposedly is a flat plane crank dual overhead cam 8-cylinder engine. Now they're saying in this that it's going to have 650 horsepower and 600 foot-pounds of torque. Now another thing they forgot to mention here is the RPM that it will rev to, which is the rumor going around is about 8,600. Moving on though to the 2023, what they are calling is the Grand Sport. Now here in a second, you're going to see the next set of models that supposedly ended up on this person's desk with corrections made to them. So they're stating that the Corvette Grand Sport is going to basically be the same engine that's in the current C8 right now. However, it's going to have a hybrid portion to it. So the front is going to be hybrid and the rear is going to be the normal 6.2 liter LT2 engine. They're going to give it another 100 horsepower, 105 horsepower. It will have 500 foot-pounds of torque, and we don't know really anything else except for what this is stating. In 2024, they're stating that the ZR1 is going to have an LT7, a 5.5 liter, the same as the Z06, but instead of being naturally aspirated, it's going to have twin turbo, and it will have 200 more horsepower than the Z06. And then they've got the Zora with 1,000 horsepower, the same engine as the ZR1 and the hybrid component to it. So now this is what apparently ended up on Don Sherman's desk with corrections made, as you can see, to the 2022 Z06. This correction says it's going to have 675 horsepower, 525 foot-pounds of torque, which actually makes more sense that it has a lot less torque than horsepower, not just 50. And then The ERay has been changed from Grand Sport to ERay, and it looks like it's going to have 550 and 550, which actually makes a lot more sense as well because it's the standard LT2 motor, and it's going to have hybrid, which also gives it more torque. So it should have pretty equal or maybe even more torque than it does horsepower. So the interesting thing about this is they did not correct the ZR1 and they did not correct the Zora. So to me, that is very interesting. It says a lot about what they're saying here. But again, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Obviously, right now, this is pure speculation, but I tend to believe that this is not just speculation. There's something to this. Now, if we scroll down, there's a lot more said here, and I'll paraphrase it for you guys. So they're talking about the similarities and differences between the ERay and the Z06. Somehow they're thinking that the ERay will have different tires than the Z06, which is contrary to what we already currently have with the Z06 and Grand Sport. So the ERay truly is going to be a different car than the Grand Sport always is. They're stating that both front tires are going to be the same, so 275/20s on the front, but the ERay will only have 315/21s on the rear, whereas the Z06 will have 345/21s on the rear. And the ERay should most likely be all-wheel drive via the front electric drive motor. The visuals on the front are stating, as you can see in these two pictures here, the Ferrari and the Lotus. Some people were thinking it would have a big front intake. However, they're saying that the Lotus Exige here is what the actual front vents on the hood are going to look like on the Z06 instead of like the Ferrari 488 Pista. So couple of differences there. They also stated that the front trunk will still probably be pretty spacious because it is on the Pista, even with that huge intake right there. So that's good. They also discuss here whether the ERay could have a intake in the front fascia for extra cooling in the front's electric motor. They also talk about how the ERay probably won't have a frunk because of that electric motor, which is something that we all knew anyway would probably not happen. Now they're also talking about how the Z06 will have a more powerfully visual wheels as shown in the picture above. So we scroll up here and they're talking about these wheels that we got to see quite a while back. I put them in my video and I'll put a link to that up in the top right corner so you can watch that video. But they're talking about how it'll have those really nice wheels. And for some reason, they think the base model ERay is going to have active aero on the rear, the rear spoiler, whereas the Z06 probably will have a fixed wing unless you get maybe the middle or the top of the line model of the Z06. Another thing that I find interesting here is they are talking about how GM is maybe going to make just a track most version. If you look here, it says the Z06 track most version. And they start talking about that when they're talking about the exhaust. And they use a McLaren here as an example of how they think maybe the Z06 will have a straight through exhaust up through the middle of the fascia and not down below. And they may be getting rid of the rear trunk in the Z06 altogether as far as being able to fit, you know, like even a golf bag in there, which you already know my opinion about that. I hope that's exactly what they do. And then basically the last point that they make, and they say it's a debatable point, and that is how much wider will the side scoops be for the Z06 and the ERay? We saw one source saying that they will be 5/8 inches wider on each side on the Z06 than the ERay. So time will tell us what will happen actually with both of those cars. So the last thing that they state here is when they believe the reveal will be, which will be a similar date to the reveal of the C8 7/18/21. I don't know if they're correct about that. They also state that production starting date will be October 1st. They also state that this is another maybe, and I think that is a huge maybe on both of those. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, but I'm guessing that we're not going to see this car revealed until probably the fall of this year. And then we're not going to see production start until the end of 2021, if not the very beginning of 2022. And then the car will be delivered, as far as the Z06 goes, will be delivered to dealerships starting in February or March. Now, as far as the ERay goes, that's so far out in the distance that there is no speculation of when that's going to start, so we're not even going to talk about that. But this is just stating what they think about the Z06. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to link all of this down in the description below so that you can get to this article and you can read. There's also a link that they have in here to discuss a poll between the Z06 and the ERay. So I'll link that in there. But to me, this is exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love to hear new information about especially the 2022 Z06. But I'm also excited about the ERay, as this is going to be a brand new model for Corvette. We're going to have our first hybrid. I know I can't wait to get my 2022 Z06. As you know, I have a deposit down for one, and I'm hoping to get one of the first Z06s out in Texas. So it's all exciting stuff. I hope each and every one of you enjoyed this, and leave me a comment down below if you did. But that's really going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give me a thumbs up. As you know, that helps break the YouTube algorithms and helps promote this video all over. Also, if you have not joined this wonderful Brink of Speed community, please hit that red subscribe and the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you out on the road.